Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. Picture this: Valentine's Day, 2008. While most people were thinking about flowers and chocolates, Mike Michalowicz was sitting at his dinner table, his world crumbling around him. Just a few years before, this guy was living the dream. 2 multi-million-dollar companies sold before he hit 35, a Viper in the garage, a Land Rover in the driveway. He was the entrepreneur everyone wanted to be. He honestly believed he had some kind of magic touch. Everything he touched turned to gold. But tonight, the gold had turned to ash. His angel investing firm, the venture he was so sure would multiply his success, had instead become what he calls an angel of death. It had burned through every single dollar he'd made. He'd gone from ridiculously wealthy to completely, devastatingly broke. He tried to keep it together, to hide it from his family, but when his wife asked if everything was okay, he just broke. Right there at the table, sobbing, he confessed, "I lost everything, every single penny." The silence that followed was suffocating. Then something amazing happened. His 9-year-old daughter, Adela, jumped up and ran to her room. She came back carrying her piggy bank. The one she'd had since she was tiny, completely sealed up with masking tape, duct tape, and rubber bands wrapped around it. She put it on the table and slid it across to him. And then this little girl said something that would completely change his life. "Daddy, we're gonna make it." In that moment, with his daughter's entire life savings sitting on the table, Mike had a shocking realization. A 9-year-old with a piggy bank understood more about real financial security than he, the celebrated millionaire entrepreneur, ever had. This isn't just another rags to riches story. This is the origin story of something called Profit First, a ridiculously simple yet incredibly powerful financial system. Born from complete failure, it's now transformed thousands of businesses from what Mike calls cash-eating monsters into predictable money-making machines. And today, I'm going to break down that system for you. By the time we're done, you'll understand a secret that flips over 100 years of traditional accounting wisdom completely upside down. It has nothing to do with complicated spreadsheets or grinding harder. It's all about a simple behavioral trick that works with your human nature, not against it. It's a method for guaranteeing profitability, not as some hopeful leftover, but as an absolute certainty from your very next deposit. So get comfortable. We're about to tame your monster. Ever feel like you're running your business on a treadmill? You're running faster and faster. Sales are climbing, revenue's growing, but you're not actually getting anywhere. You check your bank account at the end of the month, and after all the bills are paid, there's nothing left. Or, worse, you're actually in the red. Sound familiar? You're not alone. In fact, you're in the majority. Mike calls this the survival trap. We create businesses to serve us, to give us freedom, but somehow we end up serving them instead. We take this brilliant idea and mix in our unique talents, and at first, it feels like magic. But over time, it morphs into this giant, terrifying, soul-sucking, cash-eating monster. And what do? We follow the battle cry we hear everywhere, from business schools to networking events. Grow. Get more sales, land bigger clients, chase the next shiny opportunity. But here's the problem with that thinking. Growth is only half the equation. Mike compares it to those guys at the gym with massive upper bodies but toothpick legs. They look strong, but their foundation is weak. The second that next big sale doesn't materialize, the whole thing collapses. For generations, we've been taught one fundamental formula for business. It's so ingrained we never even question it. It's called GAAP, or Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. The formula is beautifully simple. Sales minus expenses equals profit. You sell something. You pay all your bills, rent, payroll, supplies, everything. And then, if there's anything left over, that's your profit. Logically, it makes perfect sense. Spend less than you make. But there's a fatal flaw in this formula. It's not a math problem, it's a human problem. It completely ignores a powerful principle called Parkinson's law. The law says that demand for a resource will expand to meet the supply of it. In plain English, if you give yourself 2 weeks to finish a project, it'll take 2 weeks. Give yourself 8 weeks for the same project, it'll take 8 weeks. The exact same thing happens with money. The more cash we have available, the more ways we find to spend it. A big deposit hits the account, and suddenly we feel rich. That new equipment becomes necessary. That bigger office space feels justified. Our expenses magically rise to match our income every single time. Under the traditional formula, profit is a leftover, an afterthought. It's the scraps you hope to find after everyone else has eaten, and usually the plate is empty. This is what brought Mike to his knees that Valentine's Day, and it's what keeps countless entrepreneurs trapped. But what if the formula itself was the problem? One sleepless night, deep in his financial crisis, Mike was channel surfing late at night. He stumbled on some fitness expert on PBS. This guy was explaining why fad diets fail, because they force us to fight our natural habits. The key, he said, isn't to force yourself to change. It's to change the system around you. His number one tip? Use smaller plates. He explained that most of us have this deeply ingrained habit. We fill our plate with food, then eat everything on it. Changing that lifelong habit is basically impossible. But if you just use a smaller plate, you naturally serve yourself less. You still clean your plate, but you eat fewer calories without even thinking about it. You're leveraging your existing habit to your advantage. For Mike, this was like being struck by lightning. He realized his business bank account was one giant dinner plate. Every dollar that came in got dumped onto this massive plate, and true to human nature, he was eating it all. Every penny got spent running the business. What if, he thought, he could apply the small plates principle to his finances? What if he could create a system that didn't require him to suddenly become a financial genius, but instead worked with his natural tendency to spend whatever was available? And that's when it hit him. The revolutionary idea at the heart of this entire book. He had to flip the formula. Instead of sales minus expenses equals profit, it had to be sales minus profit equals expenses. Now, mathematically, it's the exact same equation. Logically, nothing has changed. But behaviorally, everything has changed. With this new formula, you don't wait to see what's left for profit. You decide on your profit first. You take it off the table immediately. You put it away. And you're forced to run your entire business on what remains. The profit is the main course, and the expenses have to survive on the leftovers. This is the essence of profit first. It's a behavioral system, not an accounting system. It's designed for actual human beings, not emotionless robots. And it works by following 4 simple principles, modeled directly on that diet philosophy. The first principle is use small plates. Instead of one giant bank account where everything's mixed together, you set up multiple smaller accounts. At minimum, you need 5. 1. An income account, which is like your collection plate. All revenue gets deposited here first. 2. A profit account. This is for your profit. 3. An owner's pay account. This is your actual salary. 4. A tax account. This is money set aside for the government. And 5. An operating expenses account, or OPEX. This is the money you actually have to run the business. Each of these accounts is a small plate with one specific purpose. The second principle is serve sequentially. When money lands in your income account, you don't just randomly pay bills. You follow a strict order. First, you always move a predetermined percentage to your profit account. Always. Then you move money to owner's pay, then to tax, and whatever's left after that goes to your operating expenses account. Expenses get fed last, always. If there isn't enough money left for all your expenses, that's not a sign to raid your profit account. It's a powerful, immediate signal from your business screaming at you that your expenses are too high. It forces you to ask, how can I make this work with the money I actually have? Instead of, how can I find more money to pay for all this stuff? The third principle is remove temptation. This might be the most crucial step. You need to make it difficult to steal from yourself. Mike recommends putting your profit and tax accounts at a completely different bank than your operating accounts. A bank that's inconvenient. A bank you can't check with a single click. When you move money to these accounts, you transfer it out of sight, out of mind. Just like a Dela's piggy bank, sealed with duct tape. You block easy access so in a moment of weakness, you won't borrow from your profit to cover something non-essential. And the fourth principle is enforce a rhythm. Most entrepreneurs manage money reactively. A bill arrives, you panic. A big check arrives, you celebrate and spend. It's chaos. Profit First introduces a simple, calming rhythm. Twice a month on the 10th and 25th, you do your allocations. You log in, look at the total deposits in your income account since the last allocation, and transfer the percentages to your small plates. Then you pay your bills from what's available in your OPEX account. This rhythm does two things. First, it stops the daily panic. You know when money's being managed, so you can let the bills pile up until then. Second, it gives you a crystal clear snapshot of your business's health twice a month. You see the flow of cash in a predictable way, and trends, good and bad, become obvious. So how do you know what percentages to use? This is where you face the naked truth with something Mike calls the instant assessment. It's a simple diagnostic that shows you where your business is right now compared to where a healthy business your size should be. The book provides target allocation percentages, or TAPs, based on your actual revenue. For example, a business making up to $250,000 should target 5% for profit, 50% for owner's pay, 15% for tax, and only 30% for operating expenses. As your business grows, these percentages shift. The owner's pay percentage goes down because you're transitioning from being an employee who does all the work to being a shareholder who benefits from the company's profit. When most entrepreneurs do this for the first time, it's brutal. They often discover they have 0% going to profit, are paying themselves way too little, and have operating expenses that are double what they should be. It can be painful, like Mike's friend Debbie, who broke down in tears after seeing her numbers. But this clarity is where transformation begins. Knowledge is power. Now you know what needs fixing. But here's the key. You don't jump straight to those target percentages. That would be like trying to donate 5 gallons of blood on your first visit. It would kill the business. Instead, you start small. On day 1, you start by allocating just 1% to your profit account. That's it. 1%. It's so small you won't even feel it. The goal isn't to get rich on day 1. The goal is to build the habit, to prove to yourself that the system works. Then, at the end of every quarter, you do 2 incredibly important things. First, you take a profit distribution. You take 50% of whatever's accumulated in your profit account and pay it to the owners. And this is non-negotiable. You must use that money to celebrate. A vacation, a fancy dinner, a new couch, something that brings you joy. Why? Because this trains your brain. It creates a positive feedback loop. You start to emotionally connect the disciplined act of saving with a real, tangible reward. You finally start to feel your business serving you. The second thing you do each quarter is review your percentages and try to increase them just a little. Maybe you bump your profit allocation from 1% to 2%. You find a way to cut a few more expenses to make it happen. It's a series of small, consistent steps, a gradual journey toward financial health. Now, for many people, there's a giant elephant in the room: debt. How can you possibly set aside profit when you're drowning in credit card bills and loans? This is where the system is most tested and where it's most powerful. The answer is, you must still take your profit first, even if it's just 1%. If you wait until you're debt-free to become profitable, you'll never build the efficiency habits required to stay debt-free. Mike proposes a two-pronged attack. First, a debt freeze. You go through every single expense and cut ruthlessly. You rip the bandage off in one go. You cancel subscriptions, renegotiate with vendors, and yes, sometimes you make the painful decision to let people go. You have to get your expenses down to a level the business can actually afford, not what you hope it can afford someday. Second, you use a technique similar to the debt snowball. When you take your quarterly profit distribution, you use 99% of it to aggressively pay down your smallest debt first. You get a quick win, which builds emotional momentum, but you still take that remaining 1% of the distribution to celebrate. Even when you're in debt, you're reinforcing the habit of profitability. As you get healthier, you'll realize that profit isn't just found by cutting costs. It's found in efficiency. It's found by asking a powerful question: how can I get twice the results with half the effort? This leads to another core strategy: firing your worst clients. A study Mike cites found that for most businesses, the top 25% of clients generate 150% of the profits. The bottom 25% of clients, those needy, low-paying, always a problem ones, actually cost the company 50% of its profits. You are literally paying to work for your worst clients. By letting them go, your profit instantly increases, and you free up time and energy to find and serve more of your best clients. It's about focusing on what truly drives profit, not just what drives revenue. It's the difference between Ernie the lawn guy, who keeps upselling his client on services he's not equipped for, roofing, chimney repair, and ends up spending more on tools than he makes, and Sean across the street, who just does one thing, raking leaves, and does it efficiently for multiple clients, making more profit in a single day with far less stress. But knowing all this isn't enough. This system is simple, but sticking to it is hard. Our old habits are strong. We'll be tempted to raid the tax account, to plow back the profits, to cover a shortfall. We'll tell ourselves little lies. This is why the final piece is accountability. Mike tells this wonderful story about a miserable winter camp he attended as a kid. To teach them not to waste food, the counselors would weigh the leftovers after every meal, and the kids had to deal with the consequences. By the end of the week, through peer pressure and a shared goal, they got the waste down to 0. We all need our own version of that waste bucket. A profit pod, an accountability partner, a coach, someone who will hold our feet to the fire and prevent us from cheating ourselves. Because genius, as Edison said, is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Knowing the system is the 1%. Doing it consistently is the 99%. Ultimately, Profit First is more than just a business methodology. It's a lifestyle. The same principles, the small plates, the rhythm, removing temptation, can be applied to your personal finances to build true, lasting wealth and achieve financial freedom. It's about locking in your lifestyle instead of constantly upgrading it with every pay raise. It's about teaching these fundamental habits to your children, giving them their own set of envelopes for saving, for giving, and for spending, just like Adela and her piggy bank. The journey starts with a simple, powerful choice. The choice to stop being a slave to your business. The choice to stop surviving on leftovers. The choice to flip the formula and finally pay yourself first. When you really break it down, the most powerful lesson from Profit First isn't about accounting at all. It's about human psychology. Mike Michalowicz didn't invent new math. What he did was recognize a fundamental truth about us. We're emotional, impulsive beings, not the logical, rational creatures we pretend to be. For decades, the financial world has given us systems built for robots. They tell us to use willpower, be disciplined, track every penny, and make rational decisions based on data. And for decades, most of us have failed. We fail because these systems go against our very nature. Our brains are wired to react to what's right in front of us. We see a big number in our bank account, and our brain says, spend. The genius of Profit First is that it doesn't try to change that. It accepts our flawed human nature as a given and builds a system that channels it for our benefit. It's a financial judo move. Instead of fighting our tendency to spend what's available, it simply reduces what's available. The small plates aren't just a cute analogy. They're a brilliant hack for our brains. By physically separating our money, we create psychological separation. The money in the profit account is no longer our money to spend. It's Ace Profit. It has a different identity. This shift from relying on willpower to relying on a system is why it works and why it sticks. It automates good behavior. If there's anything you take away today, I hope it's the inspiration to try this in a small, manageable way. You don't need to completely overhaul your business overnight. Here are 3 simple actions you can take right now to start living Profit First. First, just open one new account. Don't worry about all 5 plates to start. Go to your bank, or better yet, a different bank, and open a single savings account. Name it Profit. That's your first small plate. Second, commit to the 1% transfer. The very next time any money comes into your business, whether it's $10 or $10,000, before you do anything else, log in and transfer exactly 1% of that deposit into your new profit account. It'll feel almost laughably small. That's the point. You're not building wealth with this first step. You're building a muscle. You're proving to yourself that you can do it. And third, plan your celebration. At the end of the current quarter, look at what's in that account. Take half of it out and spend it on something that genuinely makes you happy. A nice dinner out, new headphones, a concert ticket. You must close the loop and connect the discipline of saving with the pleasure of a reward. This is the emotional fuel that makes the habits stick. The story of your financial life doesn't have to be one of constant stress, chasing sales, and hoping for some big lucky break. It can be a story of clarity, control, and the quiet confidence that comes from stringing together small, consistent wins. It starts not with a grand, sweeping change, but with a simple, profound choice. The choice to pay yourself first. To treat your profit not as a leftover, but as the sacred ingredient it is. You have the power to turn your cash-eating monster into a loyal workhorse that serves you. And it all begins with one small plate. That was a summary of Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. We've explored the core ideas today, but a summary is like looking at a travel brochure. It can show you beautiful pictures and tell you about the destination, but it can never replace the experience of actually taking the journey yourself. The real power of this book is in the stories, the details, and the way Mike's voice guides you through the process, making you feel like you have a trusted friend in your corner. If any part of this message resonated with you, that feeling of being on a treadmill, the dream of making your business serve you, then I truly encourage you to pick up a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning a system. It's about fundamentally changing your relationship with money, and that's an experience that can set you on a path to true financial freedom. Also, if you found this summary valuable and it sparked a new idea or a bit of hope, I'd be grateful if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book. Let's keep building our wisdom, one book at a time. Thanks for listening.